Hi folks, today the etiquette of tea drinking. I've been promising to do it for a while. Won't be all of it, be some of it, but it'd be enough to just have that little bit of etiquette when you drink tea. Now, drinking tea is entirely up to you as an individual. You don't have to go with what I'm talking about. You can go your own merry little way. But this is a little bit of fun. It's based on how it would have been done and how it still is done in places. London, there's some big tea houses where people go and think, oh, I'll go there. It's all done properly. You can get the cream tea and blah blah blah. But at the same time, it doesn't mean to say everybody that goes in there uses the etiquette. Depends whether you know the etiquette or not. So some people probably think I'll go and I'll be very prim and proper, but prim and proper doesn't necessarily mean you're using the etiquette. So we'll have a look at a little bit of that. A little bit of thing before we start as to why maybe there ever was an etiquette with tea drinking. I'm going to do a little bit of surmising now because I haven't bothered to go and really look it up. But if we look at some of the facts that I do know, if we go back to, we'll just go Victorian because it's very elegant. And it would have been people with money. Talk about Downton Abbey. You're probably in the right bracket. If you watch that, which I never did, you probably find lots of tea drinking going on there. And at times there was probably etiquette and other times there wasn't. And there's some etiquette. Hello there. It also happens about this far into my video. Anyway, yeah, so if you look back, tea was a very expensive commodity. You didn't nip out to the shop and go on, just nip out and buy a bag of tea. It was expensive. And because of the expense, the big houses and such that had tea, could afford tea, like I mentioned before, that have tea caddies. Tea caddies would generally have a lock and a key, and very often that key would either be carried by, I don't know what she was called, but she'd be like the head of the household, the head of the servants, and she would probably either carry it on a chain around the neck or attached to a belt, and she would be the master of that key. So yeah, it was locked up so that servants and such couldn't nick off with it. That's how expensive it was. So you can see that because of the expense, then a little bit of a ritual would come with drinking tea. Because of the expense, you wouldn't make a cup of tea and just sit there and slurp it back, and you want to enjoy that drink and get the best out of it for the money. Hence, when I did the video of how you brew tea, don't just throw it in a pot or throw a tea bag or whatever in a pot and give it a go. Squeeze all the colour and everything out of it. If that cost you a lot of money, you would want to get the best out of it. And if that meant brewing it to a certain way, that's what you would have done. You wouldn't want to spend that much money and sit there going, oh, this is bloody bitter and vile, isn't it? You know? So, yeah, it would have made that arise that you would have got a little bit of a ritual from it. And the ritual, when you sit round to have tea, someone would either take that responsibility and be the teapot master, for the want of a better word, and they would do the tea, or it would fall upon the lady of the house or whatever to be the tea person. But yeah, there was loads of ritual to it, and that's where we get a lot of etiquette come from, partly because of the standing of the people and partly because you wanted it to be something more than just sitting there and having a cup of tea. If you had friends around or it was a special occasion, you wanted that. You were showing off having this tea, and it had to be done in a certain way. So, to start with, and I'm mainly addressing to goths because it's generally who we're sort of talking to. But for those other people that are friends and that follow, talking to you too. On the goth side, it is. I find it's a very goth thing because of the Victorian era. So let's look at it in that way, in a way. So if you want to drink tea, yeah, you can have etiquette. If you want to make it a little bit more ritualistic and you have friends round, or so would you like to come round for tea, whatever, then, and you want to put that little bit of a show on, it's good fun if you and your friends get together and you do it in that sort of way, rather than just sitting there and going, yeah, I believe it. It's a little bit more fun, it's a little bit more elegant. So just going to look at it to sort of make it a little bit more elegant. How elegant is up to you. And first of all, like I said, it's up to you. If you're goth, whatever you are, if you just want to wear whatever, wear whatever. If you want to be just that little bit more into it and make it a special occasion, then maybe if you're goth, whatever you are, you can dress up a little bit more in your refinery. So probably rather than a t-shirt and whatever, up it a little bit. Think goth Downton Abbey. But whatever. So gonna look at what I might be doing to do this video. But I'll definitely be here because this is where I normally am. So I'm not going to do a restaurant scene. I'm not going to sort of suddenly turn this place into some manor house. So it's going to be an everyday setting with just how to take tea, just tea. At some other time we're going to look at cream teas, etc. This is just the etiquette of having a cup of tea. So, am I going to go elegant black goth, black shirt, black tie, a few accessories, but elegant enough to take tea? Or should I go white shirt, wing neck collar, gold accessories, and just look a little bit more elegant? Okay, as you see, I've opted out for this dress, and one of the reasons I'm fed up to keep changing. But anyway, if you want to do it this way, dress up a little bit. The option's yours. Okay, now we're going to have tea, not take tea. So you never take tea, you have tea. The first thing, posture, sit upright to have tea. No leaning forward during the tea. a nice upright posture. And we're going to use a napkin, which is never called a serviette. You use a napkin. Now, I don't have any cloth ones, so I'm going to use this one. The nibber, whether they're white or black, the nibber go here, they go onto the knee. So that's the napkin on the knee. Rest of it pretty straightforward, whether it's you pouring the tea or someone else. You always pour the tea before the milk. Some people are going to argue, no, you put the milk first. You put the tea, then the milk. So tea, milk. Obviously you put the amount of milk that is suitable to you. Sugar, I don't have any here, so I'm not going to show you because I don't take sugar. If you take sugar lumps, the bowl, those, if it's obviously sugar, spoon, put your sugar in, and then you never stir around like that, making clanking flipping noises. You take your spoon forwards and backwards like so, stirring it as well just pulls the sugar in the bottom. So agitating backwards and forwards without hitting the cup. Afterwards, put your spoon in the saucer. Never do that. So you put the spoon in the saucer. I'm going to put it down here because it makes hell of a noise in that saucer, which defeats the object. But backwards and forwards, put the spoon down, don't clank it on the cup. When it comes to drinking, you never sit there like this unless there's any particular reason you really need to sit or stand like this. But generally if you're sitting around the table, saucer on the table, when you pick it up to drink, you do it with your fingers, with all your fingers tucked in, even this one. If you have your finger out like that, which most people think that is prim and proper to do, you'll be frowned upon because you do not do that. You're keeping control of all your little pinkies and they stay tucked in there. So you hold the cup and you don't slurp, you don't take big gollops, you sip the tea. Mainly if you think about what we were talking about earlier, the expense of it, you want to get the best out of your tea and sipping it will do that. So don't just knock it back in two. And it goes back into the saucer. You might have noticed there that when you're doing that, if you're talking, stop talking, but don't talk while you're doing it. So as you're picking it up to sip, stop talking. Don't look over the cup. If somebody's talking to you, still don't look over the cup like I'm doing now. When you go to pick up your tea to drink it, you look into the cup, you look at the tea, you carry on looking at the tea all the way through it, go into the lips, sipping it and back down to the saucer. Then you can look over the cup and carry on talking, but it's not etiquette to do it any other way. So finger in, handle, stop talking, look in the cup at the tea, sip, down, carry on. So theoretically, without going into masses of detail, that's what it boils down to. Just using a little bit of elegance, a little bit of etiquette, a little bit of self-control so that you're not going ballistic of whatever you do. Definitely no slurping, sipping, finger in, look at the tea, not what somebody else is doing over there. If there's a brick going to fall on your head, I suggest maybe you look somewhere else, but if it isn't, it's like that. So folks, simple as that really. At a later video I'm going to do cream teas, afternoon tea, eye tea, that sort of thing. So you'll get a little bit of more information on what it is taking tea and the sandwiches and things that you can eat with it. But as for this, just remember those few little rules and you won't go too far wrong. Just remember, not like me, stop bloody talking. Hey, well, I flipping did it. So Jeeves, is the car ready? Are we about to depart? Oh folks, the car's ready. I'm going to lunch with the Queen. So behave yourselves, do whatever you want to do or don't do, and I'll catch you on the afternoon tea. Like that. And I'm going to have another sip and stop talking.